It never fails. Someone always asks me, "Hey Heather, what about?" And honestly, that's where the best conversations begin. I'm Heather Shaw, certified functional nutrition coach and Pilates educator. After walking through my own wellness journey, hello 80-pound weight loss, I now light the path through my program, The Plan, complete with protein-forward recipes, hormone know-how, and a lifestyle for longevity. This is the Exquisite House Pilates and Wellness podcast, Hey Heather, what about? We're diving into all things movement, menopause, metabolism, and more, especially the stuff no one warned us about. I tell it like it is, but always with a wink and a hug. No perfection required, just consistency, curiosity, and better questions. Served up with a side of sass.
Well, hey, this episode is all about sobriety. And people ask me, what was your life like before sobriety? What were you avoiding? What were you carrying? What led you to this place? In my younger years, I was deeply insecure. I struggled with anxiety, lacked confidence, and didn't believe I was capable of much beyond being a wife and mother. I longed for significance, but I didn't know how to find it. My first marriage taught me to live small. I sought perfection in homemaking and motherhood, but I never felt good enough. The marriage was emotionally abusive, and when it unraveled, it led to a painful divorce and years of custody battles. I fought hard to maintain a relationship with my children, but my parental alienation created deep wounds that felt impossible to heal. I turned to alcohol to numb the heartbreak. It became the only way that I knew how to cope. Eventually, I was barely functioning. I lost a job I loved, and I felt like I was losing my mind. When I entered an outpatient treatment program, I was humiliated, scared, and broken. A doctor gently told me alcohol was not helping my pain, and for the first time, I listened. 40 days later, I was functional. I began attending women's 12-step meetings. I cried, I shared, and slowly, I began to feel safe. But my relationship with my children continued to deteriorate. After years of trying to fight for connection, my sponsor asked me a question that changed everything. How long are you going to accept this? The idea of letting go felt unbearable, but I was exhausted. I had separated from my second husband, was barely making ends meet, and was emotionally depleted. When my cousin invited me to move to a new town and start over, I said yes. And that yes was the beginning of a new life. When I think about what scared me most about sobriety, it wasn't giving up alcohol. My life didn't revolve around drinking. I was afraid of social situations or losing friendships. What terrified me was this: how am I going to cope with my life without it? I was in a very difficult marriage, even more painful than my first. For a while, I questioned whether my drinking was the problem. But 2.5 years into sobriety, it became clear we were simply different people who wanted very different lives. When I made the decision to end that marriage, it felt like a weight lifted. I could breathe again. Sobriety gave me space to figure out who I actually was. My confidence grew. My character deepened. I knew what I wanted to do, which was give back. I just didn't know how to do it yet. I enrolled in a 2-year personal training program, but my autoimmune disease flared up. I became very ill and had to leave the program. That felt like another loss. But it was also a moment I chose to fully start over. When I moved in with my cousin, we had the most healing summer. Meetings, work, beach weekends, dancing, home-cooked meals. I began to feel joy again. And then I met a kind, vibrant, curious man. I had no idea at the time that he would change my life. The turning point for me in getting sober was I was at work one day, hungover, emotionally wrecked, and completely overwhelmed. I truly felt like I was losing my mind. I told my boss I was sick and went home. I couldn't pretend anymore. I told my husband what was going on, and to his credit, he called a psychiatrist. That doctor referred me to a 40-day outpatient program, and that's where everything began. In the beginning, I didn't have as much support as I would have liked. My husband was domineering and judgmental, and I had isolated myself for years, so my circle was very small. I felt very alone. But then I found women's 12-step meetings. That's where I began to heal, sitting in rooms full of women who told me the truth about their lives, who cried, who shared, who didn't pretend. That changed me. Around that same time, I discovered Dr. Henry Cloud and joined a book study on Changes That Heal. That work helped me understand boundaries, identity, and emotional health in a way I had never had before. That was the beginning of real healing, not just sobriety, but wholeness. In that first 90 days of sobriety, I tried to attend 90 meetings. I got close. I will never forget sitting on my porch, looking at the mountains and noticing color again, hearing the birds sing again. I was becoming clear. As I worked through my 12 steps, I began to shed the dogma that had hung over my life, the expectations of others, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, as they say. I felt alone a lot because I was in such a challenging marriage. My husband wanted me to be a submissive person. I have never been a submissive person in my whole life. It was very draining. I started to realize I wanted more from my life. I wanted to help people. And I began to look at a career shift as I knew I couldn't keep doing what I was doing. I wasn't in a healthy environment for me in recovery. And that's when I started to look at school and studying to become a personal trainer. I was already a consultant, so this could be another way for me to use my natural teaching and assessment gifts in a health centered industry. Those changes led me to where I am now. I have a very boring and wild life all at the same time. Boring in that I'm a pretty consistent person. I pay my bills, I work, I sleep, I take care of myself. And wild in that I started my Pilates and wellness business 5 years ago. I expanded the business in 2024. I'm a friendly person, but my friend circle is small. I don't have a lot of tolerance for self centered people. As they say, I don't suffer fools. I have stayed happily married to the same man for 18 years. I won't say it's been smooth sailing, but we continue to choose each other every day. I don't want to go through life with anyone else. Sobriety helped me strip away the expectations, dogma, and beliefs of others. I got to figure out what my convictions were on faith, politics, relationships. I'm not a traditional person. I like to be collaborative. I like to help others. I like to do quiet things, and I love stupid cat videos. I haven't been able to restore the relationship with my children, but I am at peace. And I know that 20 years later, the narrative around me is not mine. It's not representative of who I am. The people that know me now know I'm honest, loving, and direct. Sometimes that lands, and sometimes it doesn't. And I'm okay with that either way. I think that sobriety has helped me learn to be kind to myself. Alcohol wasn't my first addiction, it was my last. I developed disordered eating as a young teen. It kind of came about due to my insecurities and low self-esteem, and as I healed, I realized I couldn't keep eating in a way that was unhealthy for me mentally. The physical manifestation of my own self-loathing wasn't serving me anymore. And as I developed a healthy relationship to food, I sought knowledge. That led me to becoming certified in functional nutrition. And I have so much respect for how hard it is to have a healthy relationship to food. I know how hard it is to love yourself by nourishing your body. If someone comes to me and I recognize the signs of disorder eating, I tread lightly and I refer them to a therapist or eating coach that specializes in a person's relationship to food. Sobriety is the compass that guides me to my most authentic self today. I am human, I fail, I have lapses in character just like everyone, but I know how to own my mistakes, to strive to be a better version of myself without needing to beat myself up about my shortcomings. I choose to be as honorable as possible today. After 21 years of sobriety, I don't really think about alcohol. A lot of people think that people who are sober are struggling with alcohol. Most of the times, the struggle is more about life, living life on life's terms, taking each day as it comes, and having healthy coping skills. Some folks are able to be around alcohol and some aren't. Everyone is different. I don't care if someone drinks around me. I care if someone pressures me to drink. And if somebody asks me about sobriety, I'm honest. But it's not my job to tell someone to stop drinking. We have to come to that realization on our own. If someone is questioning their relationship to alcohol, I would recommend answering the self-assessment questionnaire provided by Alcoholics Anonymous. This is a great tool for helping show clarity and what clinically shows how our relationship with alcohol is impacting our life. If someone is new to sobriety, I would encourage you to be kind to yourself. If you are a woman, stick close to the women. They will stick by you. If you are hurting, be kind to yourself. Put on your bunny slippers and be gentle with yourself. This journey can be incredibly healing. In my early sobriety, I didn't believe it when people said these things to me. It's okay. Let time tell you how incredible the community of sobriety can be. Don't give up before your life is transformed. 21 years was never in my mind when I started down this path. My goal is to stop hurting, to stop feeling the heartbreak of shattered relationship with my children. I just wanted to see if there was any hope of being happy. Today, I have joy. I still hurt, but I know how to be kind to myself, and I have forgiven myself for the mistakes I've made and will make. Today, I'm able to celebrate with a piece of birthday cake and live in that joyous, happy place.
Well, hey, if you've been nodding along to today's episode and thinking, I need more of this in my life, I want to personally invite you to subscribe to Inside the Plan, our private newsletter for folks in midlife who are ready to feel like themselves in their body again. Each week, I send real practical strategies to help you balance hormones, reduce inflammation, support your metabolism, and understand why what used to work just doesn't anymore. These are the same tools, tips, and mindset shifts I teach in my full program, and I don't share them anywhere else. So if you want to learn how to build meals that nourish you, support weight loss with or without GLP-1s, and feel like yourself again, this is for you. You can sign up at theexquisitehouse.com, click memberships and packages, then click Inside the Plan. I think you're going to love it. All right, back to the episode.
Well, hey, it seems like Ain't Nobody Got Time for That is the theme song to life these days. So thank you for being with me today. I really do appreciate you. And thank you for asking the question, hey, Heather, what about? I hope something in today's episode sparked a shift, a breath, or just a moment of, oh, that's for me. If something resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, leave us a 5-star review, and help more people find their way to us. Be sure to follow the show so you never miss a minute of real talk and real transformation. Ready to start your wellness journey? Visit theexquisitehouse.com to join us in the studio or check out The Plan, our signature program for movement, nutrition, midlife, and transformation. Remember, keep asking questions. I'll be here with answers and maybe a reformer spring or two.